Hi everyone, my name's Amber. I'm a machine learning engineer at Arise. I'm going to be talking to you today about ML observability, which is a critical piece in making your models work in the real world. Oftentimes when we're trying to take a model from the research stage to production, we know it's difficult. You can do everything right at the beginning. You could do experimentation. Everything can be going as planned until you put it into production. And that's why these models fail silently, and it makes troubleshooting them extremely painful. At the start, you're accounting for data leakage, you're building your script, you're using your training data, you're doing the experimentations, you're doing everything, and then you put it in production. As long as you're not putting it into production on a Friday night, you should be good, right? You should be able to start seeing what's going on, but there's still so much that you have to look out for. You have to look out for drift, you have to look out for performance drifts, and you have to try to be able to resolve these in a timely manner. Arise did a survey over 1,000 companies. A majority of those surveyed were machine learning engineers, and we found that it takes at least a week, 84% of teams say that it takes at least a week to actually detect and fix an issue in production. 51% say that they want deeper capabilities to actually monitor and perform a root cause analysis for drift, whether it's feature drift, whether it's performance drift. There are various types of drift that kind of seep in. And then 54% of teams say that business executives have a hard time actually quantifying the return of investment on these models. So not only do these models break, but a lot of times it's difficult to say how much you're losing if this model's underperforming. And when I say companies, I really refer to all companies. It used to be that AI companies were, only the most sophisticated teams, but nowadays everyone's using AI. Whether it's a startup and you have 10 models in production, whether you're a company that's 100 years old and you have over 1,000 models that are live, you're using these for maintenance, for forecasting, for business critical decisions every day. And when you're using these, it's important to think about the time that you spend actually developing these models and in the model development lifecycle. We spend most of the time on the data prep side, that's pretty well known, and then we spend a lot of time on the training side. And then once we put these models into development, we spend a little bit of time actually on that production. And it's not that there's not challenges in production, it's not that people shouldn't be spending time there, it's that there's so many challenges that we see that companies have to face, including that time to resolution. The most common problems we see plaguing all teams are around model and data drift, performance degradation, and data quality issues, with more and more teams actually caring about fairness and bias issues in production. And when we say we find a sliver of time that people actually spend in production, it tends to be on average less than 1% of the time. Again, this was found from surveying a lot of teams. And the problems with that tend to not lie in finding what to do in production. It's trying to figure out how to spend that time in production. What we see is that in our machine learning pipeline, we start with our data prep, our model training, our model deployment, and the tools are incredibly sophisticated, right? These are tools that tell you what to do, how to do it. It's that last mile. We try to string together a host of existing tools, hoping that they'll tell us what our model is doing wrong in production, but that last mile is extremely difficult. It's that ML prediction, it's that operational decision, and if we string together existing tools, we're not going to know exactly how to find certain errors for our model. For that, we need something particular like ML observability that's actually going to help us understand what's wrong with our model. Just to give you a definition, it's the software that helps teams automatically monitor AI, understand how to fix it when it's broken, and improve data and models. So just to give you kind of an understanding, but there's also a difference between ML observability and ML monitoring. Because ML monitoring is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to tackling these challenges in production. You do want monitoring, you want it in place, but it's kind of the red light, green light. Is something working, is it not? Whereas ML observability is that level deeper. It's actually going to help you with the root cause analysis aspects. So when you do get a red or green light, saying, oh, your model is drifting or there's performance degradation, you actually know where that's happening. You can actually root cause and resolve those model failure modes. Thank you, everyone, for attending my lightning talk. If you want to learn more about ML observability, you could swing by the Arise booth. We also have a free kind of demo trial account that you can play with. You can put your own data in. We have a very active community. But I look forward to chatting with you and catching up after the fun of happy hour. So thank you, everyone.